these people having independence. And because, some people might assume, well, they can't do that and they can't do that. Well, you would be surprised what different people can do. And
the world
show me. That's what I say to people. Show me what you can do.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, and really equipping people with, it's okay to talk to me. I mean, you look at my son, he looks, quote unquote, you can hear me say this, normal.
Yes. Yes.
But equipping them with, this is how we might respond to you, or, explain to autism to your child, and this is a way to explain it to them. So equipping your friends with, this is why he might not be just like you, but that's okay.
And I think it's great, like you said, equipping people with the answer and say, this is how he might react in this situation. It doesn't mean he's being rude or inconsiderate, but this is his reaction. And if you say that ahead of time, people go, oh, okay. Well, it becomes very accepting. And again, we go back to that normal word. It becomes, okay, that's okay. Then no offense occurs, because then no one thinks, oh, well, why did he say that or do that? Well, he wasn't kicking off and having a tantrum. That's his reaction to that, because that's the way that he knows. So it's about finding out more information about the situation. And again, with us being involved so many with different children within a district, you get to see a lot of different things that you didn't even know. You had to know about different children.
Yeah. And you know what? I'll say my son's classmates, they are absolutely the best. And his teachers have been so great about teaching about acceptance. And, he's pretty much in the classroom full time. And, I had to giggle the other day. I got a picture text from his teacher that he didn't want to leave PE. He loves Angry Birds, and they had been playing this Angry Birds scooter game or whatever. Yeah, and he didn't want to leave PE. So 3 of his classmates worked together to pull him on the scooter to his classroom. He had the time of his life. He was totally fine leaving PE. And they learned how to help him also.
Isn't that great?
It's just, I'm like, it's so wonderful. Yeah.
It's good that, look at their kind heart, where they look over and they go, oh, this is what we need to do. And look how the 3 of them came together to do that. Yes. Wouldn't that be great to see that in a bit more adulthood as well? Like, this is what we're seeing from 9-year-old kids.
Goodness,
Wouldn't that be wonderful to see that unity with 29 and 39 and 49 instead of just 9? Wouldn't that be great to see that come together? I would love to see a lot more of that harmony and unity. So when you're speaking on stage, so you're doing your talks, are you doing workshops with people? How are you connecting with more people in the audience?
Yeah, so, talk about love, embrace, redefine. Sometimes, it kind of depends on the format, but a lot of times, I challenge people to figure out a situation. We'll talk about a situation in your life. Have them write down, how can we love it more? How can we embrace it more? How can we redefine this? Because a lot of situations are going to happen again. So when this situation comes up in your life, how can you redefine that so that you have a different outcome? And then I get people talking, because it's really hard for us to talk about things that aren't perfect in our world. So if we can start talking about things that were challenges to us, and this is how we might be able to handle it differently, a whole world starts to open up. That kind of, that wall, that vulnerability kind of sheds. And we realize at some point, you know what, we're all human. We're all going to do things. Things are going to happen to us, but it's a matter of how we respond. And so let's talk about it and brainstorm with each other and, see how we can make things better for ourselves, our family, ultimately our world, as we go about our lives.
No, that sounds great. So which are the places that you do work in? I know you said that you're in schools and where's your best place to be? Do you like to work with families? Are you with couples? Where do you, because you've got so much to offer, I feel like there's not one place that you should be. I feel like everything you've talked about can help so many people. So where do you go? Where can people expect to have your help? And, what do the timelines look like? And tell us a little bit about that. If we were with Wendy Anderson and we were going to work with you or see you speak, what can we expect?
Yeah, so obviously I do work with a lot of moms.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times the moms take on the caregiver roles. And I love working with moms also, but also with the couples. It's my dream to have a couples retreat for parents of special needs kids where we can actually have care for the kids too.
Good.
So it's ultimately a family retreat, but that we can work with the couples together and separately. My husband can take them in, and then I can take them in, and he can have the women,
Good. So
all of that.
yes, yeah.
Yeah. So I speak to bigger audiences, spoken to smaller groups, several local autism societies around here. And I am in the process of developing a program to work with schools. As a former teacher, I get it from both sides, as a parent and a teacher. And really to help the schools and the families bridge the communication gap and really just the gap that's between them. It can be tough. I mean, it's tough enough as it is to have a parent with a special needs child. But then, to have a great situation with the school, you communicating with the school with you, and to help each other understand each other better. So I kind of have, many different facets here, but I think it all goes together ultimately. And our goal is to do what's best for our children. And that it does involve the schools. It involves the medical community. I was just talking to another friend who had some medical stuff and, teaching her how to be an advocate for her child in the medical community, an advocate in the school system, an advocate just in the community in general.
Yes. So that's good. Even I don't even call it a smaller thing, but something as important as that. She now goes out into the community that she has to not fight in, but be heard in, where she says, okay, right. I now need to get this done. And Wendy said, I've got to use this strategy and I've got to do this and get prepared like this and plan ahead. Because you can't just go run into a situation and think it's going to be great. There takes some planning in different areas of your life for it to go your way and for you to get what you want in that area. So it's really great that you can talk to these people and go, okay, this is what we need to do. What have you reached as far as results so far? What are your, what's the limitations that you've been given? I mean, I love the idea of what you said about doing, the retreats for the families.
Yeah.
How nice that they have something to look forward to within an environment that people understand them fully. And they may go away with some new ideas. They just may, and like you said, if you're going to have some care, for the children, that'd be great because then the parents do get a bit of quiet time without the guilt of where they look at the watch and they go, oh, I better get back now. I mean, that could be with any parent, really, not with someone who has a special needs child that needs to get back. But, if sometimes that child may be a bit demanding for the babysitter, maybe someone's, oh, I better get back, let's cut dinner short. Now, wouldn't it be great to have that retreat where they're actually nearby being cared for and people could put their feet up and have a longer dinner date or go watch the movie over there in the outside movie theatre, wherever you have the, the venue and things like that.
Yeah.
No, it just sounds great. And I think what we've opened up the conversation about tonight is just about that care within the family, understanding that all families are different and what you think is normal, as long as your intention is to have a good outcome on the other side, that's what the redefining normal can mean. And what makes you happy? Like, do you feel as though you've got a happy house full of laughter when you look around it?
Right. Yes. Yep.
So if you feel that, that you've sort of got this down. When you go, okay, there's a few smiles around here. We've got a few tears now and then. But, generally, people are happy to be in this house. So this is good. We're doing a good job there. Now, I met you last year with Women Rising and you talked about redefining normal in your story. Do you have any plans to do any more books? I mean, I've got like the bit of the book now to do the books. What's your plan? What's your plan for what's coming up with you as an author?
Yeah, so I'm actually kind of working on an outline that's basically this whole process of redefining normal and the gratitude, love, embrace, and redefine, and just teaching that. I'm hoping. I would love for it to be out towards the end of this year, early next year.
Great. So you're going to take some time to get it done this year and get some more ideas, reach out a bit more to more people, and get that just right. It's good to get people excited about it now, even a year ahead of time. Because then people go, oh, is that book out yet? Oh, and you never know, it will come out at the right time. I'm going to write a solo book in the next year, given and people have asked me the title, and I've said, I don't know the title. The title will come to me at the right time. Yeah. And that looks like a real laid-back answer, because people say, what's it going to be about? I said, well, it will be related to my life stories and strategies to help you through different times related to similar life stories of mine and strategies to get through it. But what's the title? I said, I don't know. One day it's just going to come to me and I'm going to write it down and go, there you go. There's the title.
Yeah.
And that could be
Yeah.
months and years ahead. I mean, I intend to do it, next year, but you've just got to wait for the right time, because you never know when someone needs to hear that story at that exact time.
Yeah.
I'm a big believer in being in the right place at the right time in lots of situations, and people call it a coincidence or, oh no, that was lucky. But for me, I have a stronger belief that I'm supposed to listen to this and see this.
It's right there.
I just do. And, I know I spoke to a client last year, and there was lots of different things that she found out in her life that were upsetting for her. And I said to her, well, you're supposed to find them out. And she said, well, that's not very nice. She said, well, you're supposed to help me and kind of comfort me. I said, you're supposed to find these out, because now what are we going to do with it? We know all this information. It's kind of hit you sideways, but there is something better on the other side of this. It couldn't get much worse than this. You're right. But now we know, let's go with it. Now, it was a personal situation for her. Luckily, it wasn't her health. Well, if it's the health, we never know where the health news is going to go. But it was a personal issue. She now, on the other side of things, is happy. And I said to her, oh, and you didn't like me being blunt that day, did you? No. And there's different things that we talk about in comparison. And she's like, whoa, that was my lowest time. I said, it was. But now look at your high time. You had to know that information. You had to be presented that, because it made you stronger. It made you make decisions now that you would never make today, geared towards that type of thing in your life. And look how you're on the other side of it. So, like you said, sometimes things are kind of thrown at you and you go, oh, what are we going to do with this? And it's all about your mindset. It's looking at the big picture. I know when, I did my speech where I talk about the full glass, and I talk about,
I love that.
where I talk about, it's not about having a full glass or an empty glass. It's about being lucky to have a glass. So, when I talk about that, at this time, and we talk about different things that are thrown at us through families, through children, through things that don't quite go our way, then my whole concept when I come back to it is, well, you're lucky to have a glass, because a lot of children, they haven't got the love and the attention and the time. Yeah. Some parents have just not been able to provide that for different reasons. And there's different things that we've got going in our life that other people are craving to have as part of their life, whether that is a family that they've never been able to have, or maybe it's a relationship they crave to be in, a happier relationship. Maybe they wish to be in, like I talk about living in my dream destination. Sometimes it snows hard here and I can't stand to walk outside the door. But the back of my mind says, the sunshine's coming. The sunshine's coming. And, I made a video a few weeks ago on a really sunny day, and it was snowing like crazy, and it was sunny. So I made a video, and it was called Sunshine and Snow. And my video basically said, I'm confused in Canada. It's sunny out here and there's snow. Where have I moved to? What's happening? So it was really funny. When I replayed it, I posted it, but it was funny. It said, I'm getting confused by Mother Nature. It's really sunny. I'm fooled. I've come out here and it's freezing. I'm going back in. So, it was really different, but gratitude side, really, really happy where I live. Sometimes it's freezing cold, but a lot of the time it's boiling hot. So I go back to that kind of happy side of things, of how it's coming together.
I was complaining about how cold it is here one time to one of my good friends, and she said, well, at least you have heat.
Thank you. There you go.
And I was like, okay,
all right, you're right. No complaining. That's it. Thanks for that little sidekick there. Thanks. I remember now. Thank you. I'll just go put my scarf on and turn my heat up then. Okay, you're right. So, Wendy, if anybody wants to get a hold of you, what are the best ways to get a hold of you? I know we've got it on our links, but if anyone's just sitting here and writing things down, what are the best ways that we can connect with you, have you speak at the events, know more about your upcoming retreats? What's the best way that people can connect with you?
Yep. So my website is Wendy Anderson. Anderson is SEN.
Yes.
Presents.com. WendyAndersonPresents.com. And I also have on Facebook, I have Wendy Anderson Redefining Normal. And those are probably the two easiest ways to get in contact with me. I mean, you can email through the website and all of that stuff too.
I think it's wonderful that you've actually got Redefining Normal with your name, because it kind of becomes what people associate with you. So that's great. Yes. Good idea to put those both together there so that you can see, okay, she's that lady that we need to speak to. That's good.
Yes.
Well, I've most enjoyed our conversation tonight. Like I said, I never have a guest on that I never love. I honestly do. I feel so privileged to keep finding these people that I speak to and want to have on the show. And, Thank you. I know that you've helped people tonight listening and start a conversation. And I know you'd spoken earlier about, it's just about communication and getting that conversation going. It doesn't